This horrific story out of Nashville where a 28-year-old woman has shot dead 3 students and 3 adults at a Christian school. Now, news networks crossed to President Joe Biden, who was set to address the media on the tragedy, but instead they got this.
From the White House.
My name is Joe Biden. I'm Dr. Joe Biden's husband. And I ate Jenny's ice cream, chocolate chip. I came down because I heard there was chocolate chip ice cream. By the way, I have a whole refrigerator full upstairs. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. God. Ben, how are you, pal? One of the best guys in the United States Congress, Ben Cardin. Folks, it's a delight to have you all here. And who are those good-looking kids back there? They're your kids, all 4 of them? Well, stand up, guys.
John, we'll jump back in here. Considering the moment,
we were told that the
shooting that just happened left 3 children dead, 3 adults dead, shooters dead, and we were told he would be addressing this off the top.
Yeah, it's rather surprising. I thought that a somber President Biden would have come to the podium here and addressed this school shooting.
Come to a new day. I communicate. ...
Hold up, wait a minute.
Hidden in plain sight.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. What's in your community, locally and globally? I'm Vessel 1 and with me, Vessel 2.
Hey, quick question.
Is it hidden in plain sight?
Vessel 1, Vessel 2.
Talks about hidden in plain sight.
And with that, let's get into it.
Hold it now, wait. Ladies and gentlemen. Brothers and sisters. Do you know what time it is? What time is it?
It's been a long time. I was giving you time to get the last one straight.
Hidden in plain sight.
2, what say you?
Greetings, Vessel 1. They need to leave Joe Biden alone. Everybody know he got problems. Everybody know that Joe was there for a reason. And they need to leave that man alone. He old and he doing his best. Leave him alone.
For me, that was so. I mean, my our condolences here for the tragedy of the shootings and the loss of the children and the people who passed away during that horrific incident. But off the top, it was like it was like comedy night. He start off, I'm Joe Biden. I'm married to Dr. Biden, chocolate chip ice cream, and children. That's Petal Pete strikes again, boy. I mean, wow.
Well, what can we say? Let's go America. Yeah, I'm kind of confused. Nashville shooting. I didn't really. I seen the video clips on YouTube, but I didn't watch any of them. I seen where the police have released the video footage, body cam video footage, and I saw the headlines: school shooting, another school shooting in the States, tragedy. When will they stop?
Right.
Who knows? But this one in particular, this news clip, they were saying it's a woman, but I heard it was a trans person. So
yes, So
I don't know. That was Sky News. I thought Sky News wasn't going, with the okie doke and the flim flam of the names. And if it is a transgender person, then what was it? Was it a man transitioning into a woman transitioning into a man? They just called it a woman, female.
Right,
So
right,
I didn't really catch the story. I just know it's tragic and um, not surprising that it's still happening in the States. But yeah, I don't
right,
think coming out, having a press conference doing stand up is any uh, is any way to conduct a press conference. But like I said, he's there for a reason, and the reason is not
right,
good at all.
right.
He's there to contribute to the mayhem and the chaos.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's it. That's it. Okay, pushing along. What's happening in our communities and surroundings?
Honduran president announces visit to China days after severing ties with Taiwan. Yeah, this is another hot button issue where China, Taiwan, and the surrounding communities are not knowing which way to go and which is the safe direction to be headed in.
Right,
They don't have a okay.
China has been pressuring countries to cut ties with President Tsai's administration. Central American nation Honduras just days ago agreed to no longer recognize Taiwan and establish diplomatic relations with Beijing. Now it says President Xiomara Castro will soon visit China. The Honduran government said on Twitter on Wednesday that Castro will travel to China and sign bilateral agreements. It did not provide a date for the trip. This comes as Tsai is on her Central American tour. China appears to be stepping up pressure on her by welcoming the Honduran president. Tsai has frustrated Beijing by refusing to accept its One China principle. Taiwan's foreign minister said on Sunday that the establishment of ties between China and Honduras was likely timed to coincide with Tsai's overseas trip.
And what's your thoughts, Vessel One? Are you up on the Chinese complex, or how do you take this situation as far as is it important? Is it not important? What do you think?
I believe that all this political actions that they're are taking, it has some merit to it. The fact is, what's the bottom line? That's what we have to keep in mind. What is it about? They want to cut ties, but is it because of economic? Is it because of social? Is it or is it dealing with the war effort or so? There's many aspects to that, and this is and the Honduras president has been having a lot of difficulties for the past couple of years, a year or so. So I'm kind of interested in where she's trying to take it, or what exactly she's trying to do, or what she's trying to get out of this. Um, I believe political action that she's trying to take. What say you?
Yeah, likewise, I find it interesting. I mean, Honduras, right in America's backyard. Her name is
Mhm.
Castro. That's a forbidden name in
Right,
America. She's
right,
reaching out not to China, but to China's little brother. And China's
right,
upset and jealous because they want all the attention
right.
and they want
Exactly.
the international crowd to stop even going to Taiwan and just come to them to handle Taiwan's affairs.
Right, right,
So it's all
right,
about control. It's kind of like how China did Hong Kong.
right,
Hong Kong was supposed to be somewhat of an independent country. And according to the agreements, the treaties, they were supposed to have a certain amount of years, I think 50 years or something like that, around 50 years to be independent and then China cut that short. This was the agreement between Hong Kong and the British and China. China cut that short, and if you remember, before the COVID jumped off, Hong Kong, they was out in the streets, 10 toes down, heavy with the protests.
Right. Protests, right.
Exactly. Yeah, next thing you know, we got COVID, and they housed all those people up. And you don't see any protesting coming out of Hong Kong anymore. So, yeah, I think this is just another one of China's big brother enforcement rules where they're trying to control their area, and anybody who wants to do any business or any type of negotiations have to come through them.
Japan's companies trying new ways to maintain staff levels. Yeah, this is another issue, especially in Japan. Yeah, let's see what they're talking about.
Report is predicting a shortage of more than 11 million workers in Japan's future. As the government prepares potential solutions, some employers are already trying new approaches to ensure they have enough staff. NHK World's Ueno Yamato reports.
With 4 years of taxi driving experience so far, Yazaki Koji is still a new face in the industry in more ways than one. Tokyo taxi drivers average 58 years in age. Yazaki is just 26. But even that's a threshold at the company he works for. Drivers here average 24.
I had the impression that a lot of older people work in the taxi industry. It's reassuring for me to have about 300 colleagues around the same age working together.
Another 26-year-old driver says part of the appeal is the opportunity to switch jobs within the company. Even its cafe is staffed by former drivers. The company is focused on filling its workforce with young people.
Taxi companies need to secure and nurture employees that are capable of adapting to the industry's changing needs.
Despite concerns in the capital, the bigger problem may lie elsewhere. The research group Recruit Works Institute is projecting labor shortages in every other prefecture in 2040, with Nagano facing a more than 30% deficit. The historic Ryokan Inn attracts many tourists. Problem is, there isn't enough staff to accommodate them. Its solution turned tourists into staff.
There is two kinds of sake. Which one do you like?
Higuchi Haruto is a university student visiting from Tokyo. He's in town for 2 weeks. He works at the hotel during the evening and gets a free room. During the day, he takes in the sights, even finding time for a foot bath with a view of Kiso River.
This arrangement allows me to do things I wouldn't be able to do on an ordinary trip. I'm glad to be experiencing things I never thought I would get to do, like checking in guests and interacting with customers in English.
While this won't work for every company, the group behind the projection says being open-minded is key.
Unless people dramatically change their way of thinking, Japan's labor shortage will never be resolved.
Japan's government is looking to mitigate the labor shortage by tackling another big concern, the falling birth rate. It's planning new measures to make raising children easier and more affordable. Ueno Yamato, NHK World.
Any input on that, Vessel 2?
Yeah, man, that's a double whammy. They got a negative birth rate and not enough workers to go around to fill a lot of jobs, and they really don't have an answer. But I would say for the transportation industry, A lot of those jobs are going to go to self-driving vehicles, drones, once they work out all the bugs in that industry. But that's how they probably handle that. The main issue is, in my opinion, is the younger generation. They um, they don't have the same work ethic drive as the older generation, but they're willing to do the work, but not in
Right.
all of the areas that require the heavy lifting. And
Right.
the older generation, they are slow to let go of their status, to which
Correct.
they um, they they don't want to be shunned and just thrown to the wayside as people who are no longer valuable when it comes to their opinions, which I understand. But at some point, they want to have to start training younger people to do and replace them in their positions. And when it comes to the birth rate going up, I don't know how they're going to get around that. They can start making it easier for families to be had, but at the same time, they're pushing the LGBTQ. They're pushing that methodology onto the younger generation. So I don't know how that's going to work out for them. And I'm pretty sure they're not going to do like the Brazil government, where they allowed a lot of Europeans to come in to have way with their women just to make babies so they can, boost their population that way. I really don't know what they're gonna do, but I wish them the best. They need to do something, and something fast. What say you, Vessel One?
Everything you said, I totally agree. And also, again, we did reports on all of this just last year and even this past February. The increase in economics with the cost of living going up with food and electricity and utilities. That's that's how do you factor that into the equation along with yet not excluding the Ukrainians that still are here. Um, what's going to happen with them? Will they pitch in and pull weight for this economic crisis? The foreigners that's been living here who have families, children, and that's been here for over 10 years or more. Um, how that was going to affect them as well with their social lifestyle status and crisis. So all these questions, it seems like they're not really answering. They're saying that these are problems that they're having, but ultimately, are they is it going to hinder or hurt the economy and the social dynamic in the long run? These are the things that we need to be focused on. But there's still a lot of, like I said, a lot of questions that's not answered. So I guess we have to either push and see if we can get some type of resolution or some type of understanding of where they're trying to head. But it's just me, and of course, I'm just reporting the situation.
Yeah, I just think no matter what they do, it's going to raise taxes. So I'm not looking forward to
Mm.
that. If they need some additional sperm donors, then I might sign my name on the list for that. But don't tax me for it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Moving along. Should the U.S. ban TikTok? Can it? A cybersecurity expert explains the risks the app poses and the challenges to blocking it.
TikTok boasts more than 1 billion monthly users across the globe, but if some legislators got their way, those numbers may be greatly reduced.
We are also going to ban the use of TikTok on government devices. We will do so with immediate effect.
The British Parliament is the latest government to put restrictions on the app, owned by Beijing-based company ByteDance. The UK measure blocks the app from any government-owned devices.
We take the security of government devices very seriously, and we are constantly working to ensure that those devices remain as safe and secure as possible.
A similar sentiment was heard from Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau when he announced measures for his own country's government-issued phones in February 2023.
I suspect that as government takes the significant step of telling all federal employees that they can no longer use TikTok on their work phones, many Canadians, from businesses to private individuals, will reflect on the security of their own data and perhaps make choices in consequence. But I'm always a fan of giving Canadians the information for them to make the right decisions for them.
In the U.S., about 30 states have already banned the use of TikTok on government devices. A proposed bipartisan Senate bill would give the federal government the power to tighten controls over companies that collect data from American citizens and are based in foreign countries the U.S. deems hostile. This comes a week after a similar bill was proposed in the House. It's a motion that has the support of the White House.
And we want to make sure that the digital products and services Americans use every day are safe and secure.
These bills face opposition from groups like the American Civil Liberties Union. They cite the Berman Amendments, 1988 measures that took away the government's ability to ban informational materials from unfriendly countries.
People use TikTok to create content and share information that increases news awareness, that increases civic engagement.
TikTok's vice president of public policy told CBS News banning their app, quote, makes for good politics.
TikTok is an entertainment app. We collect less data than many of our peers.
ByteDance, TikTok's parent company, said in a statement that it does not share information with the Chinese government and would not, even if asked. The CEO of TikTok is scheduled to testify before a House committee on March 12th.
No, you haven't.
That's the one you use TikTok?
No, actually, occasionally I see it has been pushed in my face when it comes to, you know, us dealing with YouTube, and since we put some of our, you know, our episodes up on YouTube, it's there, you know. But overall, I think a lot of Americans who use it for social privileges, they're gonna be upset because that's how they make their money now. And if they ban that, it's gonna be kind of tight. How about you, Vessel 2? You use TikTok?
No, sir, I sure don't. But I believe if the reason for the ban is that China's government is spying on Americans, if that is the reason for the ban, then okay, I understand that. But then let's be fair and also ban American social media platforms that do the same thing as far as spying on the American citizenship when it comes to their information. So if they're going to do it, then just be fair about it. Just say, hey, no, none of this is good for anybody because it's all spying on us no matter what country it's coming out of. And until we can prevent our governments from spying on us, then none of us need to be using it, period.
Okay. I agree. Across the board, it has to be honest across the board. Yeah, yeah.
You know,
But yeah,
you can't be hypocritical about it. You know, just say no, it's bad because China's doing it. But every social platform that people are using in the States now, the American government is spying on you. And it was created by certain ABC group named government agencies in America. So, I mean,
right.
stop with the foolishness.
Exactly, exactly. That's totally correct. I agree with you 110% there, brother. So yeah. Speaking of TikTok, what segues into our next subject matter. We're talking about the future, and in this TikTok video, they're talking about Morgan Stanley's report of the she economy, and they're talking about in 2030, 45% of the women will control majority of things, and how it's going to be difficult. As you know, Morgan Stanley is more or less an investment company. So if you're looking to invest in something, this will be the thing. Let's see what they're talking about.
There is a study by Morgan Stanley Financial. They did you can go find it too. It's online. It's called The Rise of the She Economy. In that sort of research, they postulate that by 2030, women between the ages of 25 and 44, something like 52%. I hope I'm getting my numbers right. Something like 45 to 52%.
It's over half.
Yeah, over
it is going to be over half
of women of marriageable age will be single for the rest of their lives. They will not reproduce unless they get unless they get artificial insemination, but they will be unmarried and childless during those ages by 2030, which is like a very, very steep incline. In fact, they are so certain of this that they did this research on Morgan Stanley so their investors would know what to invest in the coming decade.
What they call that? The she economy?
Yeah, the she economy.
Yo,
yes.
I think that wasn't a long time making. I think since the 60s, 70s, 60s, 70s.
Yes, yes. It's been
they
slowly.
promoted, then they start promoting the feminist movement.
That's right. Women's lib. That's right.
Yeah, all of this free sex, as much sex as we want without any consequences to our sexual behavior, attitude. Since that all sprung about, then I remember in growing up, you would hear all these songs that was basically promoting how women didn't need men.
Yeah. Nothing going on but the rent.
Yeah, if you're not paying my rent, what have you done for me lately?
Yeah.
If you don't put a ring on my finger, all of these outlandish pro single, I can do it by myself woman type of methodologies have finally reached its peak to where they're getting what they want. And I'm not sure if this is what they saw coming.
Cannot forget, including the LGBT plus group, and that's coming along strong as well. So I mean, it's just adding fuel to the fire. So she economy. Good luck, as they say in Japan. Ganbatte.
And in the video, the girl's face was shocked as hell when she heard the percentages numbers that came out.
Yeah. Well, maybe she's one of the true females that still believe in men and women should be together. So I don't know. But it's coming. 2030 is right around the corner.
Right around the corner.
Emerging investors are absolutely investing with their heart. They're 2 times more likely to invest in companies that have social and environmental goals. There are so many more young investors coming in and participating in the financial marketplaces today, and that's really due to advancements in technology, There's a proliferation of innovative technology solutions to be able to interact and invest in the financial markets. Younger investors today are engaging in social media in ways that we've never seen in the past. They're in forums, actively engaging with their peers on certain topics and certain investment ideas. 75% of them believe that their investment decisions can influence climate change. And 90% of them want sustainable investing options in their 401k. They believe that they could really impact with their investment dollars more so than prior generations. I'm Naima Hakabrar, and we are Morgan Stanley.
AI experts and prominent figures in the IT industry are sounding the alarm over artificial intelligence. They are calling for a pause in the development of the technology, citing unforeseen risks. The U.S. nonprofit Future of Life Institute released an open letter asking for labs to halt work on AI more powerful than ChatGPT-4. OpenAI has kicked off a chatbot development race among major tech firms. The letter warns that the competition is getting out of control. It says that powerful AI systems should be developed only once there is confidence that their effects will be positive and the risks manageable. It goes on to suggest that the government should step in if such a pause is not quickly enacted. More than 1,300 people have signed the letter, including Tesla CEO Elon Musk and Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak.
It's interesting. They are investing in things that can help the environment. That's good, but also interesting because I'm not sure how much of the younger generation realizes that the environment's being controlled. So therefore the investments are being controlled.
Of course, of course.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, you know, I think their heart is in the right places.
There you go. That's true. Yeah. But only time can tell and see what happens.
Right.
Speaking of time, we had a ban on TikTok. We had a ban on other things, and this is a new type of ban. This is from the Epoch Times, a news alert, March 27, 2023. New York politics. A gas stove ban is coming. And so let's see exactly what they're talking about.
New York close to passing statewide gas stove ban on new homes. New York State is reportedly close to enacting the nation's first legislative ban on gas stoves for most new construction, including single-family homes and commercial buildings. Amid a statewide uproar over the plan, the Democrat-led state legislature is set to advance the move as part of Democrat Governor Kathy Hochul's $227 billion budget blueprint, which heavily focuses on phasing out the use of fossil fuels with a commitment to creating a cleaner, healthier environment for future generations. If passed as is, the measure would prohibit the installation of fossil fuel equipment and building systems in the construction of new one-family and smaller multifamily homes, beginning on December 31, 2025. The same prohibition would apply to new larger multifamily homes and commercial buildings, starting on December 31, 2028. This policy means that any new apartments or homes built after the effective dates wouldn't be allowed to have many other common fossil fuel household items, including furnaces, water heaters, and clothes dryers. The term fossil fuel equipment actually covers a wide range of oil or gas-powered plumbing, heating, lighting, insulating, ventilating, air conditioning, and refrigerating equipment, as well as elevators and escalators that run on fossil fuel. Exemptions for commercial kitchens, laboratories, laundromats, hospitals, crematoriums, and critical infrastructure projects would be likely, the governor's office stated last month. The state budget is due at midnight on April 1st. Supporters of the plan hope that New York State would take the policies of California and Washington to the next level, Politico reported. Both of the Pacific Coast states have banned gas stoves in new properties, but they did so by changing building codes instead of passing laws. All eyes are on us, and a lot of other states are looking to what New York does, Pat McClellan, policy director at the New York League of Conservation Voters, told Politico. If we prove it can be done, and we have the political will to do this, it's going to open the floodgates for other states to take action. Criticism. The plan has triggered outrage among New York Republicans. Representative Nick Langworthy, who chairs the New York State Republican Committee, called Hochul a hypocrite for not getting rid of gas stoves in her home in Buffalo and the governor's mansion in Albany. Is it any surprise that Queen Kathy cooks on her gas stove when she flies around on private planes? New Yorkers are so sick of phony climate warrior hypocrites and their rules for the "but not for me," the congressman told the New York Post in January. Our state is in a crime and economic free fall, and she's waging war on appliances. Lee Zeldin, a former Republican congressman from Long Island and a former candidate for governor, also took issue with the Hochul administration's priorities. Other than the higher taxes, more crime, elimination of gas stoves, less freedom, lower test scores, and other doozies, life in Kathy Hochul's New York is going just swell for her apostles who haven't left yet, Zeldin wrote on Twitter on March 24. Even some Democrats expressed skepticism, saying that forcing low-income families to go all-electric might make their lives harder. I would prefer that we incentivize electric buildings, either through tax credits or other proposals, rather than forcing it as an issue because there's a lot of concern and angst in particular in Western New York, Assemblywoman Monica Wallace, a Democrat, told Politico. We shouldn't necessarily ban people from pursuing other options if that's what they want. Dueling studies. A recent study, backed by Colorado-based green energy advocacy group Rocky Mountain Institute, attributes nearly 13% of current childhood asthma nationwide to gas stove use. That's similar to the percentage of American childhood asthma attributed to secondhand smoke exposure. Gas stove usage should be considered in multifaceted asthma prevention approaches, the researchers say.
Yeah, that kind of fits the narrative of the 15-minute cities. They want everything to be electric and digital.
Yeah, along with as you mentioned about the young generation investing in, as Morgan Stanley was talking about the young generation trying to make something happen, and by changing these things and focusing on certain quote unquote again, the word is not necessarily fit the narrative of what these politicians are trying to do. They're trying to control it, they're getting rid of fossil fuels, and he's trying to push for electric and so on and so forth. So now you electric cars, electric appliances, electric house. You know, if it was a way to transition this, it'd be much easier, and I can understand it. But like it says on the Epoch Times, that by doing so and forcefully, it can make life much harder. So,
Yeah, it's going to
but
raise the power bills for sure.
exactly. But I mean, this is the coming future that we're looking at, and so these are these are choices, or these are issues that the people in the community and the world have to take issue with, and find out if it's going to be beneficial for them. That's one thing, but uh all these changes, you know change gradually is not a bad thing, but the overwhelming of change can be detrimental, especially if you're not prepared for it. So I guess we'll see, though, and
Yeah,
Hips News will keep you posted, you know. So
yeah,
yeah,
I agree. Uh, I'm not in favor of forced change. And anytime you want to ban something or prohibit something, it's a force, and I don't think that's always the the best way to do something.
Exactly. Especially with dealing with these politicians. Though these decisions that they're making is not in the best interest of the people or the citizens of of the country that they're residing in. Some underhanded agenda that they're planning to use to get either more money or stay in control, like you said. When will people wake up and rise up and speak and say, hey, this is not right. We're not taking it, and keep it moving.
Yeah, a good question. And it's interesting how this is happening in a so-called democratic ran state.
Exactly. There you go. That's it.
And the people who are pushing for this bill, they're not going to be affected by the bill.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's another
They
one of
still
those.
cooking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do as I say, not as I do type of bills being passed.
Yeah, that's mostly common of all the subject matter that we presented and we spoke of this evening. Is more or less like you said, is that do as I say, not as I do mentality. Well, well, for you hipsters out there, I hope we brought some interesting and some thought-provoking subject matter to you, and to let you know that again, this is Hidden in Plain Sight, Hips News, and these are subjects that you will sooner or later have to face and deal with. I'm Vessel One with Vessel Two, and Vessel Two, as always, can you grace us with your final thoughts?
Final thoughts, stand on your square. Make sure you're aware of your surroundings. The war drums are beating heavily day by day. People are trying to ban things that make sense. So make sure that if you are participating in the political realm as far as your votes are concerned, make sure who you're voting for is going to do the right thing. If not, get them up out of there, vote them out. If you do have a loved one, make sure that they know that they are your loved one. Until next podcast, peace.
Peace.